Welcome to my channel. Have you ever read a sentence in English and suddenly learned a new word without even trying? That's the magic of books. They don't just tell stories. They grow your vocabulary. They give you words gently, quietly, like a friend sharing a secret. You don't even need to study hard. Just read, feel, and enjoy. Today I want to take you on a journey. I'll show you how reading books, yes, even simple, easy books, can make your English stronger, your vocabulary richer, and your learning more fun. You don't need to memorize long word lists. You just need to open a book and let it speak to you. So stay with me till the end, because your next favorite word might be just one page away. Chapter 1. The day I learned a word from a story. I still remember the moment so clearly. I was sitting near the window, holding a small children's book in English. The sun was soft, the room was quiet, and I had decided to read just one page before going to sleep. The book was very simple, with colorful pictures and easy words. I thought, this is just for fun. Maybe I'll learn one new thing. But I had no idea how much one little story could teach me. As I turned the page, I saw a sentence. The kitten was curious. I knew the word kitten, a baby cat. But curious? That was new for me. I paused. I didn't want to stop reading just to check a dictionary. So I looked at the picture on the page. It showed a small cat looking inside a box, its eyes wide, its tail up, its nose almost touching a toy mouse inside. I read the sentence again. The kitten was curious. Then something happened in my mind. I didn't know the exact meaning of curious, but I felt something. I felt what the cat was feeling. It wanted to know what was in the box. It was interested. It wanted to explore. And just like that, the word made sense to me. Not because I studied it, but because I saw it. I felt it. I lived it in that moment. That's when I realized stories are powerful teachers. They don't give you hard definitions. They show you the meaning through life, through moments, through feelings. I kept reading. The word curious appeared again, this time when the kitten followed a butterfly. Again it looked excited and playful, and the word became clearer, deeper. I didn't just understand it. I remembered it. And the best part? I didn't forget it the next day. I didn't need flashcards. I didn't need to write it 10 times. The story gave me the meaning in a way that stayed. That night, as I closed the book, I smiled. I felt something inside me, like I had discovered a secret. One new word had entered my world, and I learned it not from a list or a lesson, but from a story with heart, a story that spoke to me. You see, this is the magic of reading. When you read, you're not just learning grammar or spelling. You're learning life. You're seeing how words work in real situations. You see what someone does when they're tired, what happy looks like, what brave means when a character stands up for a friend. You feel the words, and that feeling helps you remember. I want to tell you something very important here. You don't need big books to grow your vocabulary. You don't need to read fast or understand every word. You just need to choose the right kind of book, the kind that makes you smile, the kind that speaks simply, the kind that lets you enjoy the words without fear. And when you come across a new word, don't panic. Look at the picture, the sentence, the other words around it. Often, the meaning is already there, waiting for you to see it. That first time I met the word curious, I didn't feel smart at first. I felt confused. But confusion is not a problem. It's a signal. It means your brain is about to grow. When you find a word you don't know and you stay with it, you read, you guess, you feel. That's how learning happens. And the beautiful part? That word becomes part of you. I've used curious so many times now, in writing, in speaking, even when I talk to myself. And every time I use it, I remember that little kitten in the book. I remember the smile I had when I understood it. I remember that I didn't need a dictionary that night. I just needed the story. So if you're starting your reading journey, let me say this. Don't rush. Don't try to read like a test. Read like a child. With wonder, with questions, with feeling. Your brain is smart. It knows how to learn. And when you read, you're not just adding words. You're building connections between ideas, between feelings, between language and life. That day, I learned one word from one story, but it was more than a word. It was a lesson, and it was the beginning of something bigger. In the next chapter, I'll show you why books are the best places to find new vocabulary, better than apps, better than word lists, because books give you something extra, a story that stays with you. So don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. Chapter 2: Why Books Are Vocabulary. Gold mines. Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard a word many times in a story, and then suddenly one day, you understood it without even checking the dictionary? That's not luck. That's not magic. That's the power of books. Books are gold mines, full of vocabulary treasures waiting for you to find them. And the best part? You don't have to dig hard. You just have to read. When I was starting out with English, I thought vocabulary meant memorizing lists. I wrote down 20 words every day and tried to remember their meanings. But it didn't work well. The words felt like bricks, heavy and dry. I could remember them for one day, maybe two, but then they were gone. They didn't stay in my mind. Why? Because those words had no story, no picture, no feeling. Then one day, I read a short story about a little girl baking cookies with her grandmother. In that story, the word delicious came up 3 times. The girl smelled the cookies. Delicious. She tasted one. Delicious. She gave one to her grandma. Delicious. I didn't need to stop and search the meaning. I saw it. I felt it. I knew it. That's what books do. They give you words in context. That means you don't just see a word alone. You see it with other words, with action, with feeling. You understand delicious not because of a translation, but because you watch a character enjoy food. And once you feel the word, it sticks. It becomes part of you. Let me give you another example. In a story about a young boy who saves a cat from a tall tree, I read the word brave. At first, I didn't know it clearly, but then the sentence said, He was scared, but he climbed anyway. He was brave. Suddenly I understood. Brave means doing something even when you're afraid. I didn't just learn a word. I learned an idea. I learned courage. This is the magic of reading. You meet the same word again and again, in different ways, in different places. You don't have to push your brain. The brain watches, learns, remembers. Just like a sponge soaks up water, your brain soaks up vocabulary when you read. And here's something even more exciting. You may already know more words than you think. Have you read the word happy, big, run, cold? These are words you didn't learn from a textbook. You saw them in stories. You heard them in songs. You felt them in life. And because they were in context, they became real. Even when you don't understand a word 100%, your brain is working. It's guessing from clues. For example, if a sentence says, "The baby giggled and smiled when the toy made a funny noise," you might not know the word giggled, but you understand something. The baby is happy, smiling, making a sound. So you guess, giggled must mean laughing a little. And guess what? You're right. That's context. It's like a helpful friend standing beside you saying, "Look at the picture, look at the sentence, you can guess this." And every time you guess, you build confidence. You become a better reader, a better learner. Some people ask me, but isn't it bad to guess meanings? Number. In fact, it's how children learn their first language. They don't use dictionaries. They watch, listen, feel, and they learn by using the word again and again in different places. So the next time you see a word you don't know in a book, don't stop. Keep reading. Look at what's around the word. Ask yourself, what's happening in this sentence? What is the character doing or feeling? What could this word mean? Even if you're wrong, you're still learning. You're building a habit. And the more you read, the clearer the word becomes. You may see it again on the next page, or in another story next week. And suddenly, one day, you just know it, without trying. That's a golden moment. That's the gold in the mine. Books are full of those moments, and they're gentle. They don't rush you. They don't test you. They welcome you into a world of words where learning is quiet, soft, and joyful. So here's what I want you to take from this chapter. Stop worrying about memorizing vocabulary. Start feeling vocabulary. Let stories give you the words you need. Let the context guide you. Let your brain surprise you with how much it can do. You are learning every time you read, even when it feels slow, even when you skip a few words. Your mind is working, growing, collecting vocabulary, word by word, page by page. And one day, when you speak or write, those words will come out of you, not from memory, but from experience, and they'll feel natural, because they were never just words, they were part of a story, your story. In the next chapter, we'll talk about what kind of books are best for beginners, books that are fun, easy, and full of vocabulary, waiting to become yours. So don't go anywhere. Your next word is waiting just a few lines ahead. Chapter 3. What kind of books should beginners read? So you want to grow your vocabulary by reading, but now you're standing in front of a bookshelf or looking at a website thinking, where do I begin? There are so many books. Some look exciting, others look very long and difficult. Some are for kids, some are for adults. And your mind starts asking, am I too old to read this? Or, will this book be too boring? Let me stop you right there. Because today, I want to help you choose the right books. The ones that fit your English level, your interest, and your learning style. And guess what? The best books for beginners are often the simplest ones. I still remember when I picked up my first English book. It had big letters, colorful pictures, and maybe 50 pages total. It was a storybook for children. At first, I felt a little shy. I thought, I'm not a child. Should I really be reading this? But then I opened it, and everything changed. The story was about a little bear who lost his favorite red scarf. He looked everywhere, under the bed, behind the door, in the kitchen. I knew almost every word. But there were a few new ones too, like scarf, lost, and found. And because the story was simple, I didn't get lost. I understood what was happening, even when a new word appeared. I felt smart. I felt confident. I finished the whole book in one sitting. And when I closed it, I smiled. I had read my first English book, and I had learned from it. That's the kind of book you want to start with. Let me tell you about 3 kinds of books that are perfect for beginners. 1. Storybooks for children, yes. Children's books are amazing. They use short sentences, simple words, and lots of pictures. And guess what? Many of them are full of real, everyday vocabulary. Words like happy, run, milk, school, friend, jump, and sad. These are words we use in real life. And because children's stories repeat them often, they become easy to remember. Plus, the stories are often fun and full of feeling. Second-graded readers. These are special books made for English learners. They come in levels: beginner, elementary, intermediate, and so on. Each level uses a limited number of words. The grammar is simple, and the stories are interesting. You can find classic tales like The Little Prince or Sherlock Holmes rewritten in easier English. Or you can find new stories about travel, friendship, or mystery. These books are gold mines. They are made just for you. 3. Short English novels with pictures. Some books are written for teenagers or adults but still use simple language. They may be 50 to 100 pages long and include drawings. These books are a good next step when you feel ready to move on from children's books. They help you build confidence while still offering some challenge. Now let me act out something for you. Imagine this. You pick up a very difficult book. No pictures, long sentences, complex words. You open the first page, read the first paragraph, and you understand nothing. You feel lost, bored, and frustrated. You close the book. Now picture the opposite. You pick up a colorful, easy book. First page. This is Lily. Lily likes the rain. You smile. You understand. You keep reading. And when you finish, you feel like a champion. See the difference? Reading is not a race. It's not about reading what looks smart. It's about reading what helps you grow. And let me tell you something very important. Easy books are powerful. They are not childish. They are smart tools. They are your training wheels, your first steps, your gentle teachers. Reading them is not something to feel shy about. It's something to feel proud of. Let me share a quick story. One of my students was 45 years old. He wanted to learn English for work. I gave him a book called Frog and Toad Are Friends. At first, he laughed and said, "This is for kids." But I told him, "Try it." He read one page, then two, then five. By the end of the week, he finished the whole book and learned 10 new words. A month later, he gave a short speech at his job in English. He told me, "That little book gave me big courage." So the next time you see a children's story or an easy-level reader, don't walk away. Walk toward it. Pick it up. Read the first sentence. See how it feels. If it feels good, it's the right book for you. Your goal is not to impress others. Your goal is to improve yourself. And the best way to do that is to enjoy the journey. Start small. Start simple. But start today. In the next chapter, I'll show you something special. How books don't just give us new words, they give us feelings. And those feelings make words stick in your heart forever. So don't go anywhere. The most emotional part of your vocabulary journey is coming next. Chapter 4. One word, many feelings. How books teach. Emotion. 2 words are not just words. They are feelings. They are colors. They are music. And when you read a book, especially a good one, you don't just learn vocabulary. You feel it deep inside you. That's what makes reading so special. Let me tell you a story I've never forgotten. A few years ago, I was reading a short book about a little boy and his dog. It was simple, with easy words and drawings. At first, it felt like a happy story. The boy and the dog played together, ate together, even slept together. They were best friends. But near the end of the book, something changed. The dog got sick. The boy tried to help, but the dog couldn't get better. And in the final scene, the dog closed his eyes and didn't wake up. I closed the book, and I cried. Yes, I really cried. And there, on that last page, was a sentence I still remember. The boy sat alone. He felt lonely. That word, lonely, was not new to me. I had seen it before in lists or exercises, but I never really felt it, not until that moment, not until I saw that little boy sitting in the grass, holding the dog's collar, tears in his eyes. That's when I understood, lonely is not just a word. It's a feeling. It's a hole in the heart. It's silence where laughter used to be. And because I felt it, I never forgot it. This is what reading does. It takes a word that you might forget in a vocabulary test and makes it unforgettable. Because now, that word lives inside your story, your memory, your heart. Let's try another one. The word brave. If I say, brave means not afraid, you'll understand. But will you remember it forever? Maybe not. But now imagine reading a story about a young girl who stands up to a bully. Her hands are shaking. Her voice is small, but she says, "Stop." That's not right. The story says, she was scared, but she was brave. Now, you feel it. Now, you understand what brave looks like, what brave feels like, and the next time you hear that word, you won't just know the meaning. You'll remember the girl, You'll remember the moment, and the word will stay. That's why reading is not just learning, it's living. Books are full of these feelings. They carry sadness, joy, fear, excitement, love, loss, hope, and every time you read a story with emotion, your brain does something special. It opens a door. It says, "This word matters," and your memory becomes stronger. Even science agrees. When you feel something strongly, you remember better. Emotion acts like glue. It connects the word to your heart, not just your head. I once had a student who struggled with the word worried. He couldn't remember it, no matter how many times he wrote it. Then one day, we read a short story about a mother waiting for her son to come home. It was dark. He was late. She looked out the window again and again. The story said, she was very worried. My student paused and said, "Oh, now I get it." Why? Because he could see her face. He could feel her waiting. And finally, the word worried made sense, not just in the brain, but in the heart. So if you're reading a story and you start to feel something, don't stop. That's a good sign. That's a signal that your learning is going deeper. That word, that feeling, that moment, it's becoming a part of you. You don't have to cry like I did. You don't have to feel everything deeply. But when you read, allow yourself to care. Care about the characters. Care about their journey. Let the story touch you. That's how language becomes real. That's how it becomes yours. Now, some people think simple books don't have emotion. That's not true. Even a short story with 10 sentences can make you laugh or feel proud or even feel sad. Don't look for big stories. Look for true ones, honest ones, the kind that make you pause for a second and feel. So the next time you read and you come across a word like lonely, excited, afraid, or brave, don't rush. Take a breath. Ask yourself, what is this character feeling? Can I feel it too? And if you do feel it, say the word out loud. Repeat it. Let it sit in your chest for a moment. Because now that word is yours. Not just in your mouth, not just in your notebook, but in your heart. In the next chapter, I'm going to tell you a secret. Reading slowly is better than reading fast, especially if you want to grow your vocabulary and feel every word deeply. So don't go anywhere. The slow path is often the most powerful one. Let's walk it together. Chapter 5. Reading slowly, not fast. The secret to vocabulary growth. Let me ask you something simple. When you eat your favorite food, do you eat it very fast, or do you take small bites and enjoy every flavor? Most of us, when something tastes good, we slow down. We close our eyes, we smile, we enjoy it fully. Now let me tell you a secret. Reading is just like eating, especially when you're learning new words. Many learners think they must read fast to be good readers. They try to finish the page quickly, even if they don't understand everything. But here's the truth. If you read too fast, you miss the beauty. You miss the meaning. You miss the words. So today, I want to show you why slow reading is powerful, why it helps you grow your vocabulary in a natural, calm, and enjoyable way. I remember a moment when I was reading a simple story about a girl named Sarah. She was learning how to swim. The sentence said, Sarah dipped her toes into the water. Now, I didn't know the word dipped. I stopped. For a second, I thought, should I check the dictionary? But then I looked at the sentence again. I thought about the picture in my mind. Sarah, her toes, the water. I imagined it. She touched the water softly with her toes, not jumping in, just touching it. So maybe dipped means to put something gently into water. That made sense. I moved on. The next sentence said, she dipped her hand and smiled. Again, same action, touching the water. And just like that, without a dictionary, I understood the word. Why? Because I read slowly. I gave myself time to think, to imagine, to feel the word. This is what I want you to do. When you read, don't rush. Go slowly. Read each sentence with care, like tasting a favorite dish. Let the word sit in your mind. If you find a new word, pause. Look at the words around it. What is happening? What does the picture in your head say? Even if you don't guess correctly at first, that's okay. You're training your brain to learn from context, not just translation. I know what you might be thinking, but I want to read fast like native speakers. Let me tell you something important. Fast reading comes later. Slow reading comes first. Even native speakers read slowly when they meet new ideas or hard words. There is no race. You are not in a hurry. You are in a process. And here's the best part. When you read slowly, you remember more. You connect words to meaning, to pictures, to emotion. That's deep learning. That's learning that lasts. Let me share another small story. One of my students, Ahmed, used to rush his reading. He would read 2 pages quickly and then say, I don't remember anything. I told him to try something new. Read only 1 page, slowly. Take 10 minutes if you need to. Pause at every new word. Try to feel the story. He tried it. The next day, he came back and said, I only read 1 page, but I learned 5 new words, and I remember them. He was smiling. He felt proud. That's the power of slow reading. Let me give you a simple way to do it. 1. Read 1 paragraph at a time. Not the whole page, just a few lines. 2. When you see a new word, pause. Look at the sentence. What's happening? 3. Try to guess the meaning. Use the context. Imagine the action. Feel the emotion. Say the word out loud. Let your mouth feel it. Your ears hear it. Your heart remember it. 5. Then continue. Don't stop too long. Move on. Let your brain collect more clues. And remember, it's okay not to understand everything. Yes, really, it's okay. You don't have to understand every word to enjoy a story. You just need to understand enough to follow the feeling. Even missing 10% of the words is fine. You're still learning. You're still growing. In fact, when you read with a little confusion, that's when your brain works harder. It tries to solve the puzzle. And when it does, the word becomes yours. That's how learning becomes real. So today I want to encourage you. Read slowly. Love each word. Let your learning breathe. Don't chase speed. Chase meaning. In the next chapter, I'll tell you what to do when you don't know a word and how to deal with it in a smart, simple, and stress-free way. So stay with me. The next page might be your new favorite word. Chapter 6. What to do when you don't know a word. Let's be honest. When you read in English, you will find words you don't know. And that's okay. In fact, it's good. Why? Because every unknown word is a door, and behind that door is something new to learn. But the question is, what should you do when you face that door? Should you stop? Should you panic? You open it step by step, and today I'll show you how. I've seen many learners get stuck on this one thing. They're reading a nice story, enjoying the moment, and then, bam, a word they don't understand. Suddenly, they feel lost. Should I stop and check the dictionary? Should I skip it? What if it's an important word? Let me tell you what I always say to my students. Confusion is not your enemy. It's a sign that your brain is growing. So don't run from it. Walk through it. Let me give you 3 simple ways to deal with unknown words. 1. Guess from context. The first and most powerful tool is guessing. Don't worry. This doesn't mean wild guessing. It means looking at the words around the unknown word. What's happening in the sentence? Is someone happy, angry, running, laughing? For example, if you read, "She opened the box and gasped. Inside was a shimmering necklace." Now, maybe you don't know the word shimmering, but the sentence tells you something. She gasped. She was surprised. And it's a necklace. So, shimmering probably means something beautiful or shiny. And guess what? You just learned it without a dictionary. 2. Use a dictionary, but the right way. Sometimes guessing is not enough. That's okay too. In those moments, use a dictionary, but use it wisely. You can use a paper dictionary or an app. My favorite apps are simple ones with examples and audio. When you check a word, don't just read the meaning. Read the example sentence. For example, if you look up disappointed, the app might say disappointed, feeling sad because something was not as good as expected. Example: I was disappointed when the movie ended too early. Now, suddenly, the word becomes real. You can imagine a moment like that in your life. That's how you make it stick. Also, don't check every unknown word. That will break your reading flow. Choose 1 or 2 words per page, only the ones that really matter to the story. Let the rest come back later. They will return, and each time they will make more sense. 3. Keep a notebook or a word box. Now, here's my favorite part. When you learn a new word, don't just let it disappear. Keep it, hold it, make it yours. I tell my students to use a small notebook or box. I call it the word box. Every time you learn a new word, write it on a small card or piece of paper. One side, the word. Other side, meaning, sentence, or picture. Keep these cards in a little box. Each day, open the box. Pick 3 cards. Read them. Say them out loud. Use them in your own sentences. This is not study. It's play. It's fun. It's your own collection of English treasure. Let me tell you a true story. One of my students, Hina, was very shy about speaking English, but she loved reading. I gave her one small storybook and a set of blank cards. I said, each time you find a word you like, write it on a card. Keep it in a box. She did that for 2 months. Every day she read for 10 minutes and added 1 or 2 words to her box. Then she reviewed them before bed. 2 months later, in class, she raised her hand. She said, "I feel proud today." I asked, "Why?" She said, "Because today I used the word grateful in a sentence. I read it in a story. I wrote it on a card. And now it's mine." That moment was powerful, not just for her, but for everyone in the room, because she showed us that small steps, taken daily, can lead to big change. You see, unknown words are not a problem. They are invitations. Every time you meet a word you don't know, smile. You're meeting a new friend. And just like any friendship, it grows with time and care. So the next time you find a word you don't understand, don't feel bad. Don't feel stuck. Do one of 3 things. Guess from the story. Check it simply in a good dictionary. Write it down and save it. Because confusion is not a wall. It's a door. And behind that door is more English, more confidence, and more joy. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something exciting: reading aloud. Yes, using your voice. And how that small change can make your vocabulary stronger and your speaking clearer. So don't go anywhere. Your voice is the next tool for learning. Chapter 7. Reading aloud. A bonus for vocabulary and pronunciation. Have you ever read something quietly in your head and then forgot it after a few minutes? That's very normal. When we read silently, we often forget quickly. But there's a simple, powerful way to make your vocabulary stronger and your pronunciation better too. Just speak. Yes, read aloud. Use your voice. Let the words leave your mouth. Reading out loud is one of the best ways to turn a simple reading activity into a full learning experience. When you speak the words, you don't just see them. You hear them, you feel them, and you remember them. Your tongue learns, your ears learn, your mind learns. Let me show you how it works. I once had a student named Zane. He was very shy, and he didn't speak much English in class. But he liked reading. One day, I asked him to read a very short sentence out loud. It was from a children's book. The sun is bright. He looked nervous at first, but he took a breath and read it slowly. The sun is bright. And then something happened. He smiled, just a little smile, but it said everything. That smile said, "I did it." He didn't just read a sentence. He owned it. He heard it in his own voice. That moment changed his learning. That's the magic of reading aloud. Now you might be thinking, but my pronunciation is not good. That's okay. That's why we practice. You don't need to sound perfect. You just need to try. Every time you speak, your mouth gets used to English sounds. You train your muscles, your tongue, your lips. It's like exercise for speaking. When you read aloud, something special happens in your brain. You connect sound, sight, and meaning all at once. It's like building a bridge with 3 strong ropes. That bridge stays longer and stronger. Let's try a few simple sentences together. Say them slowly with me. I am learning English. This book is very good. My name is Samira. He is eating rice. We are happy today. Now, read one more sentence with feeling. The sun is bright. Say it like you really feel the sun, like you see it with your eyes. You see, when you read with emotion, the words become real. They stay in your memory longer because they are not just sounds, they are experiences. Another great benefit of reading aloud is rhythm. English has a natural rhythm. Some words are short, some are long, some are strong, some are soft. When you speak out loud, your brain begins to feel that rhythm. You start to sound more natural, even without trying. Now let me give you a few tips to read aloud the right way. 1. Choose easy sentences. Don't start with long or difficult texts. Choose a book or passage that you understand. This builds your confidence. 2. Go slowly. You are not in a race. Say each word clearly. If you're not sure about pronunciation, repeat the word slowly 3 times. 3. Use feeling. Don't read like a robot. Read like a storyteller. If the sentence is happy, smile a little. If it's sad, slow down your voice. This helps your brain connect emotion to language. 4. Record your voice. Optional. Sometimes it helps to hear yourself. Record a short reading on your phone. Listen back. Celebrate what sounds good. And if something sounds strange, practice it again. You'll get better every time. 5. Do it. Daily. Even 5 minutes a day is enough. Make it a fun habit. Read a short story aloud every morning or a few lines before sleep. You'll notice improvement in a few weeks. Reading aloud also builds courage. Many learners are afraid to speak English in front of others, but if you practice alone, reading to yourself, to your mirror, or even to your pillow, you will feel more comfortable. Slowly, your voice becomes stronger. I've seen it happen many times. A student begins with whispering short sentences. Then one day, they read aloud in class, and later, they speak to a friend. It all starts with one voice, your own. So if you're watching this and you've only been reading silently until now, I invite you. Try reading aloud today. Pick one page, any page, a short paragraph. Say it slowly, clearly, with love. You'll feel something shift inside. That's your voice waking up. And when your voice becomes part of your learning, your vocabulary becomes part of your life. In the next chapter, I'll show you how to keep all these new words from books in your brain, using memory tricks, repetition, and a little bit of fun. So don't go anywhere. You've found your voice. Now let's help it remember every word it says. Chapter 8. How to keep vocabulary from books in your brain. Have you ever read a word, understood it, and then forgot it the next day? You're not alone. This happens to almost every English learner. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It just means your brain needs a little help to remember. Today, we'll talk about how to keep new vocabulary in your brain, not just for one day, but for weeks, months, and maybe forever. Let me teach you something simple but powerful. Learn, rest, repeat. That's the secret. It's called spaced repetition. But don't worry about the big words. Just think of it like this. You learn a new word today. You take a break. You see it again tomorrow. Then again 2 days later. Then next week. Each time your memory gets stronger, like watering a plant. Not too much at once, just a little water every day. Let's say you read a story and find a new word. Gentle. You understand it. Maybe it means soft or kind. You feel happy, but the next day, you forget. That's okay. Here's what you can do to keep it in your brain. 1. Write it down. Use your notebook or word box. Write gentle on one side. On the other side, write a simple sentence like, "The baby has a gentle smile." Or draw a small picture, maybe a feather or a mother holding her child. That picture tells your brain, this word is soft. This word is kind. Now your memory has something to hold. 2. Use it in a sentence. You don't need perfect grammar. Just try. Speak it aloud. My teacher is gentle. I like gentle music. Even if it's just to yourself, say it. Use it. That's how it becomes yours. 3. Make a mini story. Take 2 or 3 new words and make a short, fun story. It doesn't have to be serious. It can be silly. Let's try. Gentle, rain, window. Here's a small story. It was raining. I sat near the window. The sound was gentle. I felt calm. Look at that. You used 3 new words in one small story. This is a memory trick. When words are together in a story, your brain remembers them better. Play a game with yourself. Here's a fun idea. Every night before bed, look at 5 of your word cards. Choose one. Try to remember your sentence or picture. Then, in the morning, see if you still remember it. If yes, celebrate. If not, read it again. That's repetition. That's how memory works. 5. Say the word in real life. If you talk to someone in English, online, in class, or even to a friend, try using one of your new words. Don't wait for perfect grammar, just try. One of my students, Syra, used to wait and wait. She said, "I don't want to use the word wrong." But I told her, "You learn faster when you use it, even with mistakes." So she tried. She said, "My cat is very gentle." Was it perfect? Maybe not. But guess what? Everyone understood. And she remembered that word forever. The moment she realized she could use new words without being perfect, that was a big moment. Her confidence grew, her fear got smaller, and her vocabulary, it started growing fast. That's your spike moment today, too. You don't need perfect grammar to start using new words. You just need to try. Speak with mistakes. Write with small errors. It's okay. The words will fix themselves over time. What matters most is that you're using them, not hiding them, not forgetting them. Your brain loves patterns. It loves stories. It loves pictures and sound. So give your brain what it loves. Don't just read and walk away. Play with the words. Talk to them. Draw them. Build small sentences. Build small stories. Learning vocabulary is not just about memory, it's about connection. The more ways you connect to a word, the longer it stays with you. So today, I invite you. Pick one word from your reading. Just one. Say it. Write it. Draw it. Use it. Repeat it tomorrow. And again next week. Soon, it won't feel like a new word. It'll feel like part of your language, part of your voice. In the next chapter, I'll show you how to make one book your special vocabulary partner. How to turn just one story into a whole new set of useful, beautiful English words. So don't go anywhere. Your next favorite book might be closer than you think. Chapter 9. Making a Book, Your Vocabulary Partner. Sometimes we read one book and move on, then another and another. But what if I told you that just one book, yes, only one, can help you grow your vocabulary in a big way? You don't need a whole library, you just need a partner, a learning partner. And that partner can be a book. In this chapter, I want to show you how to choose one book and make it your vocabulary friend. A book you return to again and again. A book that doesn't just give you a story, but gives you your own English words. Let me start with how I did it. Some time ago, I found a small book called Rainy Days. It was a simple storybook, just 40 pages, short chapters, and easy language. I liked the pictures. I liked the feeling. It was about a boy who stayed home during a storm and how he spent the day with his family. It felt warm, real, and peaceful. I decided, this will be my book. I didn't rush to finish it. I treated it like a friend. Slowly, I read just one chapter a day. And I did something special. I carried a small notebook with me. In each chapter, I looked for 5 to 10 new words. Not just hard words. Words that felt new, interesting, or useful. In the first chapter, I found these words: drizzle, cozy, mug, blanket, window pane. Now, I didn't stop after just writing them. I tried to live with them. I looked at drizzle, the light, soft rain in the story. I imagined it. Then, the next time I saw light rain outside my own window, I whispered, "It's a drizzle." And I smiled, because now the word was real. Cozy was used when the boy wrapped himself in a warm blanket. I liked that word, so I used it too. One evening, while sitting on my sofa, drinking tea, I said out loud, "This feels cozy," and I meant it. Mug was a new word for me too, not a cup, but a bigger one for tea or hot chocolate. So I told my friend the next day, "I want to buy a new mug." She understood. She smiled. I smiled. And that was my spike moment. I used a word from my book in real life. And someone understood. In that moment, I didn't feel like a student. I felt like a speaker, like someone who owns the language. That's what happens when you turn a book into your vocabulary partner. Let me walk you through the steps so you can do it too. Step 1. Choose your book. Pick one book that feels good. Not too hard, not too long. Maybe it's a children's story, a short novel, or even a picture book. Look for something with easy words and a story that makes you feel something. Step 2. Read slowly, one chapter at a time. Don't read everything at once. Read one chapter or just a few pages. Take your time. Enjoy it like a good cup of tea. Step 3. Find 5 to 10 new words. Write them down. But don't just copy. Think. Where did I see this word? What was happening? Was it happy? Sad? Exciting? Let the word come with its story. Step 4. Make the words real, use them. Even if your sentence is simple. Even if you speak to yourself in the mirror. Say, "It's a cozy evening. I like this mug. Look at the drizzle." Each time you say the word, it becomes more yours. Step 5. Return to the book again. You don't have to finish the book quickly. Go back. Reread your favorite parts. When you meet the same word again, it will feel like seeing an old friend. You can even tell someone, "I'm reading a book. It's my vocabulary partner." And they might say, "Wow, that's a smart idea." Because it is. The more time you spend with one book, the deeper your learning becomes. You don't just know the story. You know the language of the story. You've seen it, felt it, spoken it. One of my students once told me, "Teacher, I only know 10 new words from this book." And I said, "That's wonderful, because you own those 10 words. They are not in a list. They are in your life. That's the goal. Not hundreds of words you forget, but a few words you remember and use." So today, I want you to pick your book. Any book. Make it your partner. Carry it with you. Read a little each day. And every time you meet a new word, welcome it. Say it. Use it. And soon, you'll notice something amazing. You're not just reading English. You're living it. In the final chapter, I'll show you how to take all the words you've learned from reading and use them in real life, in real conversations, with real confidence. Don't go anywhere. This last step is the one that changes everything. Chapter 10. From Reader to Speaker, Using Book Words in Real Life. So here we are, the final chapter of this journey. And I want to say something very true, very simple, and very powerful. Reading is just the beginning. Speaking is the next beautiful step. When I look back at my English journey, I see something amazing. So many of the words I love, so many of the words I use today in real conversations, they all came from books, not from grammar books, not from big dictionaries, but from stories, from simple books filled with feeling. I remember reading a short story about a girl who loved to paint. In the story, she used the word peaceful to describe how she felt while painting. I had never really used that word before, but I loved how it sounded. I wrote it in my notebook. I said it out loud. And then, one day, I used it in real life. I was sitting in a park with a friend. It was quiet. The sun was warm. I took a deep breath and said, "This place feels peaceful." And my friend smiled and said, "Yes, it really does." And just like that, I became a speaker, not just a reader. That's what happens when you turn reading into action. You read, you learn, you speak. And the words are not random. They are words that mean something to you. Words that you met in a moment of emotion, in a story, in a sentence that touched your heart. Those words stay longer, and they come out naturally when you speak. Let me share something else. When I started writing short messages in English, texts, emails, even small social media posts, I noticed that I often used words from the books I read. Bright, wonderful, curious, gentle, kind. All of these words came from stories. They came from characters who said them, and slowly they became my words. Even in class, when I gave answers or shared ideas, I felt those book words helping me. I wasn't memorizing. I was remembering. I was living the language. So here's the truth I want you to take with you. Reading builds your voice. One sentence at a time, one word at a time. You may not notice it on the first day, but after a few weeks, something changes. You start using those words in class, with friends, in your thoughts, even when you speak to yourself. You read lonely in a sad story, and suddenly you use it to describe how you felt last week. You read excited in a happy chapter, and you say it out loud when you look forward to something. That's the real power of reading. Not just learning new words, but learning to express your life in a new language. And you know what else? One book can give you 50 new words, and one sentence from that book can change your whole day. I've seen it happen. A student once read a book about friendship. In it, the character said, "True friends are like stars. You don't always see them, but they're always there." The next week, that student used the sentence in class. She said, "My best friend is like a star." Everyone smiled. She felt proud, and I felt proud too. That's the moment when reading becomes speaking. That's the moment when you stop being a learner and start being a user of English. You don't need to speak fast. You don't need to sound perfect. You just need to take that step from reading in your mind to speaking with your voice, and you can start small. Today, say one sentence from your book out loud. Tomorrow, use one word from your reading in a message. Next week, tell someone about the story you read in simple English. Each time you do that, your vocabulary becomes stronger. But more than that, you become stronger, more confident, more open, more joyful, because learning English is not only about words, it's about becoming more yourself in another language. So I want you to remember this as we close. Every page you read is a step forward. Every word you speak is a little victory. And every time you connect a book to your real life, you are growing in a deep, powerful way. You started this journey with curiosity. Now you finish it with confidence. And this is not the end. It's just the beginning of a new chapter. Your chapter as a reader, a speaker, and a lifelong learner of English. Now you know the secret. Books are not just for fun. They're tools, teachers, and friends. They help you grow your vocabulary, your voice, and your confidence. If this video gave you even one new idea or made you smile, please do 4 small things for me. Like this video, comment, and tell me, what's the last English book you read, or the one you dream of reading? Subscribe to my channel for more real beginner-friendly tips like this. Share this video with someone who wants to grow their vocabulary but doesn't know where to start. And remember, words are not just for tests. They are for life. They are for expressing your thoughts, your feelings, and your dreams. And the more you read, the more those words will live inside you. So open a book, find a word, feel it, use it. Your English journey is turning a beautiful page today. Let the story begin.